Hello everyone, thank you for joining us once again for the latest episode of the I'll Try That podcast. Joining me this week are Joe Druitt.
Hi everyone.
And Richard Drabwell.
Aloha.
Hawaiian themed, is it?
Yeah, I'm working on my different hellos from around the world this year.
Oh, how novel. That's exciting. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for next week's already.
Yeah.
Good.
I've really dug myself into a hole for this one. Yeah.
How long are you going to keep this going for? 3 weeks. I give you 3 weeks tops. Good. Well, we've got Rich's bit of interesting news done. Right, what are we talking about today? Today's pursuit of hoppiness, as we called it once upon a time. Yeah. We are doing another visit to the beer swap shop. This was a much anticipated episode for me, met with small disaster that we might get into later on. But the beer, an old favourite of mine, Lindeboom from the Netherlands. You may remember a while ago we did Orange Boom. I think we told you there was another boom coming. This is the second boom. This is Boom 2.
Electric Boomaloo.
Anyway, if that's not whet your appetite for the second half of this episode, I don't know what will. And before we get into that, we'll do the hop topic, for which I'm passing to Richard for, I believe.
Yes, so we are going to a different place in the world.
How does this different place in the world say hello?
For some reason, I was going to say good day, but that's Australian.
Right.
Yeah.
I reckon it's Irminal.
We're visiting Jamaica, which is
that's right, Sweden.
which of course is famous for Bob Marley, marijuana, and taking it easy.
I think Jamaicans would possibly take a bit of an exception to some of that.
Lovely coastlines, you know.
Yeah. Caribbean soul food.
Yeah, food. Oh, jerk chicken.
Oh, I would love some jerk chicken right now.
I recently had a curried goat hash somewhere.
Ooh.
A Jamaican food outlet. That was banging.
That does sound pretty good.
What also Jamaica is well known for is red stripe, which we have covered on the podcast.
We have done that before, yeah.
Oh, I do like a bit of red stripe.
I love a red stripe.
But is there a new beer in Kingston Town?
A new beer on the block.
Yeah, a new beer on the block who say they want to challenge the big name players of Red Stripe, Heineken and Guinness.
Oh, that's some big players.
There's some big players. Your product has got to be pretty damn good if you're going up against those guys. Well, they've named it. They've named it, 24 karat gold.
Oh, they're already off to a flying start.
Which is an absolutely...
Put your faith in it.
Yeah, 24 carat, which is a bold, strong name to go in for. We don't actually have it to try, because it is currently in Jamaica and none of us have been there. Have you been to Jamaica, Barbara? You might have gone.
No, not Jamaica. I was in Antigua,
Oh, I've been to Antigua.
And you told me I messed up by not going to Barbuda, I think.
Yeah, Barbuda, yeah. Lovely. Yeah.
Really, I should have gone to Barbuda.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're coming out on the market then, and as I said, they're trying to get involved in all of this. But we also, I got very confused reading the article that we were looking at, because it did say, what was it, $250 for a beer? And I was like, Jesus Christ. I know it's saying it's 24 karat gold sort of thing. But then we all discovered Jamaica has its own currency.
Which is Jamaican dollar.
The Jamaican dollar.
250 Jamaican dollars is about £1.26 sterling.
Oh, blimey. Yeah, I was going to say, relatively speaking, I would feel really wealthy over there.
Yeah.
Funny though, so I didn't know what to expect, because also, I know it sounds a really stupid thing, I know, because when you say 24 karat gold, carat is not like a carrot, obviously, but like when I hear it, I go, oh, maybe I'm just too used to drinking weird beers with you two. But like, I was like, oh, you're going to tell me it's made from carrots or something like that. But now I thought, again, when you said 24 carat gold, I thought, oh, no, we do have a lot of golds in beer, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And actually,
it's
some of the nicest
colour in the industry, isn't it? In the category.
Yeah. And it did remind me of when I was in Antigua, and I think I drank Carib, which was, I can't remember where that was brewed. Like, I don't think it was Antigua, I think it was nearby. And I remember thinking it had this particular golden hue, which I think is what you'd want from a beer that you were drinking in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you kind of, so they've got three different, they've got a light beer, which is 3.8%, which I can imagine is probably quite refreshing to sip while you've got your feet dangling and you're strolling along the golden sand beaches. But then they're hitting in with a 6.5 stout, which, is, I'm not going to lie, is not what I want to be drinking whilst on a Caribbean beach.
Wouldn't be my,
not what my go-to, but there's something about a stout that's like quite interesting in a hot country. Isn't it?
For those that is the norm, it maybe a stout is just, a nice opportunity to break away from what I would have thought is quite a lager heavy market.
So they've got a light beer, stout, and a regular beer is how they describe it.
Yeah.
Nondescript regular beer. What does that mean? But they have said, like I said,
it's not 24 karat gold, that one. It's fine.
But the regular beer. But that kind of covers this gamut of Red Stripe, Heineken, and Guinness, I suppose. You've got a light beer and a stout going after Guinness. But no, the Caribbean, like the countries, and there's like 22 countries that make up the Caribbean. Like, they do love Guinness and stouts in those countries. And actually, going back to Carib, Barbara, you were saying it's Trinidad and Tobago is where they're headquartered.
I knew it was.
But they've got operations in St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, and Florida as well. Just had a quick little look at that one. So yeah, I mean, the design of this 24 carat beer is like a lion, a very proud looking lion on like staring down straight at you. It's quite intriguing. So yeah, definitely this is a Jamaican beer company, they look like they're investing into the market, and they've got some lofty aims of trying to break some of the big players. So yeah, let's see if they've got the growth potential of changing and shaking up the Jamaican beer market.
Yeah, I'll keep your eyes peeled for that. Well, good, lovely. Well, we've done that. We'll move on to the pursuit of hoppiness. And Lindeboom is subject matter for us today. I had this beer in mind. I don't know what made it jump back into my mind, but when we went off with the task of finding some beers for the others to try, I remember I was like, what was that beer that I absolutely loved? And I remember I've not seen it very much since. But I reckon probably either way, it's in my university days. I remember there was a pub in Bristol that used to serve Lindeboom, and maybe it was the taste of the beer or the heady days of being a young, carefree student. But I remember thinking, this beer is the absolute bee's knees. Why I mentioned earlier on that we've been met with disaster is that I had failed to identify that whichever stockist I bought this from in the third or fourth quarter of 2023 has supplied us all with beer with an expiry date of October 2023. And it does look like there's ghosts in the bottom of the bottles.
Kind of like sea monkeys.
It doesn't look very well, this beer. I have not gotten as far as opening it and pouring it out. I may feel bolder and try again in the near future. I believe
Rich has opened it up though, right? Rich?
Yeah. I cracked it open and poured it out, ready to try, but it looks like it's snowing in my glass.
It's like a snow globe.
It's like a beer snow globe I've got at the moment. And I had a little sniff and I did have a little swig. And yeah, it didn't taste great. I'm not going to lie.
Which sounds like it's not right, because you were raving about it before, Matt, when you tried it before.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, and so often absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it? But seeing that it's clearly off, has broken my heart a little bit. And I didn't want to just take my word for it. I went and got hold of a couple of others. Well, I have been looking through a few other reviews. Although that said, most of those don't appear to be not unfavourable, but not like they're completely head over heels in love with it as I remember being. However, I will punctuate that with looking through. I think most people in the UK now, if they are tasting it and reviewing it, are getting it bottled. And I, very distinctly remember. Well, I would point to some of my enjoyment of it in the past being that it was draft that I was drinking it.
Yeah.
And also, this is a Dutch brewery, I believe, in Neer,
Far?
wherever you are. NEER is the brewery.
Like
It's. If you've read up about it already, they've just been going on over 150 years, and I believe for most of that time it's been a family affair passed down through generations.
I think they're saying it still is. That's
This was. I was just checking. The last bit I read about it, I was like, oh no, someone will have overtaken it. This thing's out of date. But yeah, apparently still family run.
Yeah.
They have a real commitment to, good brewing practices and that sort of thing. And I think the idea with Lindeboom is that the brewery had its own natural spring, and it has real crystal clear waters that they make the beer with. And that's probably the reasons why I thought it was such a nice beer. But you guys have got it in front of you. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I can't, again, outside of the cloudiness and the bitter disappointment that I can't bring myself to try this beer because it does look quite appetizing. It's obviously in like a brownie bottle, which obviously is quite traditional, light brown. But I wonder what colour it is actually when you pour it out in the glass, Rich. Is it more like an ambery colour?
Yes.
Like golden?
Can you see it there? I'm just holding it up. Yeah.
It's like an amber. Okay, so it's what it looks like through the bottle, actually. It's just got a bit of tint to it. But that looks fascinating. It looks like it's got quite a lot of different flavour because it is a Pilsner. So it's a Dutch Pilsner, which would be interesting to try. Again, I've never had a Dutch Pilsner before. So
every review I think I'd seen agreed, which was pretty much in line with what I thought before. Grassy hop aromas.
Nice.
Grass mentioned quite a lot actually. A little bit of sweetness, but yeah, sparkling golden as you would normally expect a classic lager to be. But above all else, just easy drinking and really crisp, refreshingly so. And again, that's how I fondly remember it. And it's also, it packs a punch. It's 5%. And I remember thinking, I could drink this all day and all night, but I think I'd probably end up in a bit of trouble if I had done. But remarkably easy drinking considering it's 5%.
I'll give you. I'm going to test your Dutch, guys. What does beer van hier mean? It's on every one of their products.
Have a beer under the tree.
Okay, that's a guess.
I thought that was even though the beer is from the Netherlands, the apostrophe T at the start to me almost speaks of a little bit of Yorkshire beer from here.
Well, you're absolutely spot on.
It's beer from here.
Beer from here.
Actually.
Does Lindeboom have another name to do with a tree?
Oh, I think boom. Do you want to say about Orangy boom? Boom is tree.
Boom is tree.
It's that's the house of tree, isn't it? Which is like the boom.
The Orangy boom was the orange tree, which was the house of Dutch royalty.
Ah, yeah,
as I remember.
So Lindeboom is obviously a tree that's important to this beer, but they do have other beers. They've got a wit beer, which doesn't have a tree on it, and they've got a governor, which is a blonde, which also doesn't have a tree on it. So this is the only tree beer in their portfolio.
Also, the House of Tree does sound like the worst family in Game of Thrones.
Hang on, there already was who had the tree on the front?
Yes.
Highguard?
Yeah, but they were the flower people. They were the flowers.
Yeah, that's right. There was one.
At least a tree's feels sturdy. A flower feels like, doesn't instill fear, does it?
What about a Venus flytrap?
Yeah, that's a plant, though, isn't it? Is that a flower?
A flower. I also
there are some deadly flowers. You're right. So maybe we could do like a deadly flower.
Another podcast, chaps. Another podcast. Entirely.
We're getting off tangent.
I did a check because I also went. I don't know what made me think it. I thought for some reason that Lindeboom meant a strawberry tree, and actually, also I'm fairly sure strawberries don't grow on a tree. It's like a bush. Or a bushel.
Bushel. That's a good word.
Bushel. Yeah.
Bushel's a great word.
It's been months since I last said a bushel of something.
Yeah.
But I just done. I'm like, I think it might be lime, and then I've translated it, and it says lime tree, and that's not what I'd have guessed.
It's very strange, isn't it?
But there we go. So
I can drop some facts about Lindeboom. Because you were saying 150 years old, family-owned brewery, 7 generations or uncounting, blah, blah. But they're officially known as the first and only slow brewing brewer in the Netherlands. So what does that actually mean? They say that basically the quality that they get just takes time. So they actually have this slow brewing technique. And they have received a slow brewing excellence certificate to make it official. So
all this time, Grolsch were just nicking their idea. If you actually believe those adverts, they say, I like things a little slower. He should have been talking about Lindeboom instead of Grolsch.
Exactly.
Stop! What are you doing? That's the
really
best Dutch accent you're going to hear today.
Smoking a pancake.
Sorry, that one's better. That one is better.
So they say that the slow, gentle brewing method using pure, natural, raw materials delivers a ripe taste to the brewed beers. So it has a positive effect on the taste because it has less fusel alcohol than the accelerated production processes used in industrial mass production, which uses high gravity. So the original wort is a requirement, and there is no subsequent dilution of the finished beer. The result of this slow brewing process is a fuller aroma profile of the brewed beers.
This is making me feel like I'm bloody right when I say it's really good. I know the idea is the brewers say these things to make you go, oh, that must be really good then. But I looked at loads of ratings and people like, I give it out of 5 like a 3.2 or something like that. I was like, what's the point in having a 5-star rating system if you're going to give decimal places, you burks? But why not just have it out of 10? Well, actually, no, it wouldn't. It would be 50. Never mind. It'd be 50. The maths has come back into play. But I'm even more convinced now, and I'm even more disappointed that it was off. And I'm getting us some more, and we're going to try it again. And maybe even better than that, I'm going to find out where we're next going to all be together and find the nearest place that actually does Lindeboom on tap. Or we're going to the Netherlands again.
I am in the Netherlands in February, but I don't. I haven't.
Oh, if you get your hands on draft Lindeboom before I do,
I'll try it. I'll try and find it.
I'm going to be cross.
I am actually heading to Rotterdam, so it's like, there's a big war between AB InBev and Heineken, basically on who owns the pubs in Rotterdam. It's like it's one brewer and you can't get the other's beers in them, basically. It's one or the other.
Could be Rotterdam or anywhere, Liverpool or Rome.
So I will look out for Lindeboom and maybe bring some fresh, non out of date Lindeboom back to
promise
fresh boom to the UK.
Promise me you will.
I will try. I'll try and do it for you. If so, I'll take a recording of it. And we're saying, Bobs, because you're quite keen once you do get through your dry January period, that you might crack open your Lindeboom that you currently have. And I was saying to the listeners that I would need you to record that, video it, and maybe share it as a reel on our Instagram.
I'm not sure anymore.
It might just ruin it for you though. So
that's the danger.
That's what I'm worried for.
Yeah.
If I then tried to have a proper one after, it's just not worth the risk because I like it too much.
Yeah,
okay,
I get that.
Okay, maybe don't tarnish it. So I've got some numbers for you.
Yeah,
you chaps.
7
on Instagram.
That's number one.
Lindeboom_beer have 1,500 followers, and on X they have Lindeboom at Lindeboom Beer have 1,500 followers again. So they are
very loyal
1,500 followers, 150 years old. Something to do with 150.
How appropriate.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich, Barber,
and Simo.
Goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram.
Twitter.
I'll try that podcast.com.
And watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.